Imagine having a boyfriend who's a rising star in a popular boy band. He occasionally climbs through your window to visit your room in the dead of night, crawling into your bed to confide his worries about navigating the complexities of fame. And imagine that even if your parents discover him there, they wouldn't bat an eye, simply suggesting he use the front door next time. Does this sound like a desirable scenario? Well, our protagonist is living this somewhat perplexing reality. The story begins one evening. A live broadcast flickers on the television screen. As the host announces their names, Wang Qiuqinyu and Kimi Yulong, two heartthrobs, appear, eliciting enthusiastic cheers from the audience. A young girl watches the live stream on her computer. The two boys are members of a group called Rank, immensely popular in the country. Within the group, Qiuqinyu cultivates a cool and aloof image, while Yulong is cast as the comedic relief, the playful clown. Consequently, most of Rank's fans are primarily admirers of Qiuqinyu. The girl continues watching, soon drifting off to sleep. The next day, after school, a classroom doorway at Shuanjin High School is besieged by a throng of students. They're all there to catch a glimpse of the newly appointed vice president of the student council. Two girls, clutching their homework, attempt to navigate the dense crowd. The vice president, it turns out, is the same girl who was watching the live stream the previous night. Her name is Zhua Yingwe, a first-year student at Shuanjin High. Due to her exceptional academic performance, she was elected vice president in her first year. Surrounded, she's bombarded with requests for her WeChat and Weibo contact information. Overwhelmed, she's rescued by the two girls who push their way through the crowd. "Excuse me," one of them calls out sharply. "We have important matters to discuss with the vice president." Intimidated by their assertive tone, the crowd disperses. The girls' intervention successfully frees Yingwe. Her outstanding grades, coupled with her beauty, have made her the subject of much curiosity. It's no wonder everyone wants to connect with her. However, Yingwe is shy and easily flustered by others' requests, finding it difficult to say no. Thanking the two girls, she expresses relief at finally being able to go home. But as she slings her bag over her shoulder, the unusual design catches the girl's attention. "No way. Yingwe, are you a Rank fan too? Who do you like? Did you see the interview last night? Qiuqinyu is so handsome." Caught off guard by their enthusiasm, Yingwe awkwardly admits to being a Yulong fan. The girls are stunned. "Don't you think Qiuqinyu is much more handsome?" Their comments become increasingly insensitive, going so far as to call her idol a clown, even using derogatory terms. Facing their criticism, Yingwe offers a strained smile. "I still prefer Yulong." The force of her quiet rebuke silences them. Finally, Yingwe walks away, a faint smile playing on her lips. On the bus ride home, a radio broadcast discusses the filming of a new movie, Midnight. The film has been in secret production for 6 months, with all media inquiries denied. Yingwe listens intently, as Yulong is part of the cast. Soon, the bus reaches her stop. Yingwe lives in an upscale residential complex called Shuanjin Huayu. Approaching her front door, she hears the sound of a neighbor's door closing. Thinking it's her neighbor returning, she rushes over to check. It's Mrs. Chun, the cleaning lady. Mrs. Chun is a friend of Yingwe's mother and was recently hired to clean Yulong's apartment, though she's never met the owner. The apartment, of course, belongs to Yulong, whom Yingwe considers her dearest friend. Disappointed, she returns home and continues following Yulong's activities online. Lost in thought, a wave of longing washes over her. "Yulong, when are you coming back?" Suddenly, a boy with purple hair climbs through her window. "Missing me, Yingwe?" Rubbing her eyes, Yingwe approaches and realizes it's Yulong. After they sit down, he hands her a ticket. "This is an invitation to the premiere of my new movie. It's just a supporting role, but it's different from anything I've done before. Let's go see it together next week." Clutching the ticket, Yingwe excitedly agrees. On the computer screen, a variety show host jokes about Yulong's transition from idol to comedian. Yulong glances at the screen, stretches, and leans against Yingwe's shoulder. "These past few months of filming have been exhausting. I can finally relax." He closes his eyes and falls asleep. Yingwe gently covers him with a blanket, their easy intimacy suggesting a long-standing bond. "Yulong, I believe that one day, everyone will understand your hard work." Music in Yulong's first encounter happened one day during his childhood. Every day, the young boy would watch a program called Shuanjin. Yulong, a well-known child star from a young age, appeared on the program every day. One day, Ingwe's mother told him that they had new neighbors moving in. Just as Ingwe was curious about what kind of people the new neighbors were, a figure appeared within his sight. He couldn't believe it. Could the new neighbor be the same person he saw on the television screen? Wasn't that boy the little Kimmy Yulong? It was unbelievable that he was his new neighbor. But why did he look so different from his television persona, with such a melancholic expression? That evening, as Ingwe pondered Yulong, a knock came at the window. Unexpectedly, it was little Kimmy himself outside. For a moment, Ingwe thought he was the legendary Peter Pan. Shuinjin Huayu Residential Complex had a unique feature. Sky bridges connected adjacent apartments. So, Yulong usually avoided the main entrance when visiting Ingwe. Yulong introduced himself and then said, "My parents are fighting. Can I come over and play for a while?" Ingwe didn't hesitate to let him in. He seemed as cheerful as he was on television. Ingwe asked curiously, "Aren't your parents fighting? Aren't you worried?" "It's nothing," Yulong replied. "They fight often. I'm used to it." Ingwe patted his head. "Used to it? If it were me, I wouldn't be able to smile at a time like this." Yulong responded with a helpless expression. "But if I don't smile, the director will yell cut." From that day on, the two became acquainted. Ingwe also learned Yulong's secret, the one unknown to others. Until their junior high school years, Yulong was preparing to debut as an idol with a boy named Xiochenyu. Unexpectedly, at that time, Yulong was embroiled in a scandal involving assault, and negative news spread like wildfire. When Ingwe returned home, he found a crowd gathered in front of Yulong's door. From the surrounding whispers, he learned that Yulong had flown into a rage, throwing things at his parents after a brief argument. Unable to bear it, his parents had left. Ingwe tried to push his way through the crowd of neighbors, but was suddenly pulled back. "Ingwe, don't go in. That child just went on a rampage, smashing things. You might get hurt if you go in. That child is spoiled. A good student like you, with excellent grades and behavior, shouldn't go near him." Ingwe listened to their advice, then in the next second, broke free from their grasp. "What do you know? You adults, just standing here gossiping in front of someone else's door. What right do you have to say such things?" Ingwe turned and saw Yulong sitting inside, covered in wounds. Yulong noticed him too. "What?" Even Ingwe came to watch the show. As Yulong spoke self-deprecatingly, Ingwe suddenly rushed over and gave him a big hug. At that moment, Ingwe was trying hard to control his emotions. "I can't cry. No one has the right to cry except Yulong." Then he began to comfort Yulong. "I'm indeed an outsider, just like everyone else. I can't say I understand your pain, but who can be blamed? Everyone only sees the surface of things. I just want to tell you, you don't have to force a smile when you're hurting." As he spoke, he was moved by his own words, and, unable to help himself, tears started to fall. Ignoring the neighbor's pleas, Ingwe ran into the room and hugged Yulong tightly. The onlookers were astonished, as if they were witnessing an angel protecting a demon. People were quick to condemn Kimmy, but no one bothered to ask why he had fought. Faced with this unusual comfort, Yulong reached out and hugged Ingwe back. "Only Ingwe believes in me. He's my only family." This was the bond between them, and the reason why Ingwe considered Go as his most important thing. Time flashed back to the present. Early the next morning, Ingwe's mother went to wake him up for school. Pushing the door open, she saw her daughter snuggled up with a boy. Furious, she grabbed Yulong. "You two aren't children anymore. Stop crawling into my daughter's room." With Ingwe's intervention, her mother released Yulong. She told him to hurry up and wash up. Yulong then tried to climb back out the window, but was quickly stopped by her mother. After a lecture, Yulong apologized and went home through the front door. After breakfast, Ingwe got dressed and went to school. Two of her friends quickly surrounded her, saying they had something to discuss. Before they could speak, a boy suddenly rushed up to Ingwe. It was for the campus radio submissions. The promotional poster had been up for ages with no response, so they brought it over, hoping the student council could offer some ideas. Ingwe took the poster and studied the contents, finding the topic too rigid and the design quite unattractive. She voiced her opinion frankly. "I think the poster's content should depict something that instantly conveys the theme." The boy from the radio club replied, "We were hoping the gifted artist, Zeely, would design the poster. But there are a lot of strange rumors about Zeely. Some say she talks to herself, as if she sees things others don't. Others say she often snaps things in half without a word. We've asked her many times, but she always refuses outright. So, we were hoping you, Vice President, could persuade her. You have a way of convincing people." Ingwe, known for her ability to handle difficult situations, finally agreed to their request. Soon, she arrived at the art room door. Inside, a beautiful girl with violet hair and golden eyes was painting. This was Nai Zili, a first-year student known as the gifted young artist. With her grandmother being Russian, she had a slightly exotic appearance. After confirming her target, Ingwe didn't enter immediately, but observed from a distance. She quickly noticed Zili did indeed have a habit of snapping things, just as the other students had mentioned. This habit was especially noticeable during math class. Clearly, Zili was someone who chafed under restrictions. After class, Ingwe noticed Zili's deep interest in plants. Subsequently, Ingwe saw that Zili's artwork was filled with botanical subjects. Through these observations, Ingwe quickly analyzed Zili's personality. Armed with this knowledge, Ingwe felt confident enough to approach Zili directly. Aware of someone's presence, Zili didn't even glance up. If it's about the radio club's poster, forget it. Just go back. I'm not interested in anything without a sense of form. The topic is too rigid. I can't connect it to anything I love. Ingwe didn't give up. I've seen your work, Zili. You seem to have a particular fondness for plants. What if we modified the topic slightly? Ingwe then recited a line of poetry. Though plum blossoms lack the snow's pure white, snow lacks the plum's sweet fragrance. The verse instantly gave the project a visual dimension. Zili, impressed by Ingwe's elegant solution, remarked, "You're quite clever. Such a rigid topic, and with a single verse, the meaning becomes crystal clear." Seizing the opportunity, Ingwe asked, "So, would you consider it, Zili? I'm really looking forward to seeing your work." Only then did Zili look directly at Ingwe, and what a sight she beheld. Ingwe's appearance was strikingly beautiful. Zili, with her high standards of beauty, immediately took Ingwe's hand and agreed to help. Soon, through their collaboration, the new poster was unveiled. The near-perfect combination of words and imagery received unanimous praise. Afterwards, some classmates, wanting to express their gratitude, were about to invite Ingwe out for the weekend. Suddenly, Zili arrived in the classroom looking for Ingwe. The other students buzzed with gossip at the Ice Queen's unexpected appearance. Zili then publicly invited Ingwe to walk home with her. Taken aback by this sudden invitation, Ingwe agreed, though slightly puzzled. However, she declined the unspoken invitation from her other classmates. She already had plans with Yulong for Sunday. Ingwe and Zili left the classroom together. The pair walking side by side had a 100% turnaround rate. There was no denying it. These two girls were truly eye-catching. It turned out the unspoken invitation from the other classmates had also been for a movie. With Ingwe unavailable, they would have to go on their own. Finally, Sunday arrived. The cinema was packed. Ingwe quickly met up with Yulong. After getting snacks, they followed the usher to their assigned theater. By sheer coincidence, her two classmates were in the same theater, and even more coincidentally, seated right behind them. As the movie began, the two classmates, observing Ingwe and Yulong's easy familiarity, started gossiping. Unbeknownst to them, Ingwe and Yulong were simply maintaining a childhood habit of sharing food. Due to the dim lighting, the classmates didn't immediately recognize them. The movie depicted the activities of a highly active illegal animal trafficking organization called GE, which had attracted the government's attention. A seasoned police dog handler, uncle, and an alluring tracker braved a thunderstorm to visit a biology professor. The professor, surprisingly, opened the door for them. He was indeed an arrogant old man. Their conversation revealed that the old man had recently created a phoenix through genetic modification, and GE was selling it on the black market. With the suspect deemed highly dangerous, the two officers, on high alert, cautiously ascended the stairs. The doors swung open. "Officers," the doctor began, noticing their arrival, "I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on my research. Do you consider it a triumph for human science?" The two officers were completely taken aback. The head of the research organization was, in fact, a teenager, Yulong in disguise. His convincing performance captivated the entire audience. Gasps of astonishment rippled through the cinema. "Is that really Kimmy? He's like a different person." Even classmates who weren't Yulong's fans found themselves exclaiming, "He's so handsome." Back on screen, the male officer suddenly grabbed Yulong by the collar. "What did you say? Do you have any idea how serious the consequences are of this unnatural, ecologically destructive cultivation?" Yulong responded with a chilling laugh. "Ecologically destructive? Officer, your words drip with righteousness. But isn't the exploitation and manipulation of other species for personal gain precisely what humans are known for?" At this point, even the film's music seemed to hold its breath. The audience marveled at how the usually exuberant Kimmy could portray such a cold, calculating, and intelligent character. Even I'm impressed, someone whispered. Yulong has really worked hard. The house lights flickered on, signaling the end of the film. The audience, still captivated, began to file out. Suddenly, two classmates walking behind, Ingyue noticed her being hugged by a boy. Their curiosity piqued. They tried to push through the crowd for a better look, but the throng of people proved too dense. Frustrated, they called out Ingyue's name. Ingyue heard the familiar voices of Li Ku and Liang Xuan. Turning around, she saw her two classmates struggling to reach her. Ingyue's heart skipped a beat. With so many people around, she knew it would be disastrous if Yulong were recognized. Instinctively, she grabbed Yulong's hand and pulled him away from their line of sight. Yulong, though confused, readily cooperated. In an instant, they vanished into the crowd, leaving their classmates bewildered and in pursuit. Watching them disappear, Ingyue felt a pang of guilt. "Sorry, Li Ku, Liang Xuan," she murmured. Then, tugging at Yulong's arm, she suggested, "They're probably gone now. Let's find another exit." Unbeknownst to them, a paparazzi had captured their exit together. The photographer promptly contacted Yulong's manager and extorted a hefty sum. Later, the manager sighed in exasperation. "This is a critical time, Yulong." The next day at school, Ingyue was immediately cornered by Li Ku and Liang Xuan. "We have something important to ask you," they declared. "Who was that boy you were with at the cinema yesterday? Is he your boyfriend?" Just as Ingyue was struggling to respond, Zili happened to pass by. She quickly ran over to him. "Zili, the broadcasting club teacher is giving us trouble. I'll talk to you later, guys. This is urgent." Li Ku and Liang Xuan, intimidated by Zili's fierce glare, quickly retreated. Grateful for the rescue, Ingyue thanked Zili. To her surprise, Zili's excuse was actually true. The broadcasting club teacher was indeed looking for him. They hurried to the office. The broadcasting club's promotional posters were excellent, the teacher praised. "The school will be giving you a reward. There's also another matter we need your help with, Ingyue. We hope you'll agree." The teacher handed her a document. "The school cafeteria is planning to introduce new desserts. The pastry chef has created a few options, and the school wants to hold a tasting event. We need 2 student representatives to participate." Ingyue found herself unable to refuse the teacher's request and reluctantly agreed. Afterwards, still feeling uneasy, Zili took her to the convenience store and bought her an ice cream. Ingyue's anxiety stemmed from the fact that the tasting event would be broadcast live on the school's TV channel during lunch break. She knew many students would be watching, making her the center of attention. Zili, eating his own ice cream, observed Ingyue's distress. "Ingyue, you're too agreeable. I would have just said no." As he spoke, Ingyue took a bite of her ice cream and grimaced. "Sorry, Zili," she mumbled. "I've had a phobia of peaches since I was little. If I eat them, Zili gently took the ice cream from her hand. "Don't worry about it. You don't have to eat it. I just hope the desserts don't have any peaches in them," Ingyue worried. "I wonder who the other taste tester is." As she pondered this, the scene shifted to class 4 of year 2. A group of students surrounded Yulong. "Yulong, we're asking you to be a taste tester for the dessert selection. With your popularity, you're sure to attract a large audience. The event will be broadcast live on the school channel, so the school is taking it very seriously." Unlike Ingyue, Yulong wasn't interested and refused outright. The other students were persistent. "The other taste tester is Student Council Vice President Ingyue. She's already agreed." Hearing this, Yulong figured Ingyue had been pressured into it. "I'm really sorry, but I can't." His words sparked immediate disapproval from the boys. "What's the big deal? He acts all cool at school after putting on such a show on TV. He barely speaks to us. What a diva. He probably looks down on a small-time school program like this." The girls, however, had a different perspective. They recognized the boys' intense jealousy of Yulong. "Kimmy hates sweets. There's no way he'd agree." Defeated, the boys turned to leave. "Since Yulong is so adamant, we won't force him. It's a shame, since most of the ingredients for these desserts are fresh yellow peaches from Dalian." At the mention of yellow peaches, Yulong shot up and instantly agreed to be a taste tester. Everyone was stunned. Does Kimmy like yellow peaches? That day in the school cafeteria, their presence drew a large crowd to watch the live broadcast. The viewers were sharply divided. Some girls adored Yulong, while some boys relentlessly criticized him. The broadcast began. The pastry chef brought out a yellow peach and strawberry tart. Completely unprepared, Ingyue froze. Then came a yellow peach cake and mousse, all yellow peach flavored. In moments, the table was covered in desserts. Ingyue was petrified, her mind swirling with images of yellow peaches. The host guided the program, announcing the start of the tasting. Yulong instantly pounced, stuffing several desserts into his mouth. He even grabbed a plate, seemingly determined to leave nothing for Ingyue. The host and cameraman were dumbfounded. Yulong had devoured 5 desserts in one go. Outside, the chatter intensified. I just started thinking Kimmy was getting cooler, and now he's back to his old self on camera. Yeah, he's still so weird. Only Zeely remained calm. Does he know Ingyue has a phobia of yellow peaches? Ingyue watched Yulong, struggling to swallow and gasping for air, her heart aching for him. The host quickly reminded Ingyue, there's only the strawberry pudding left. Kimmy, the rule is 3 desserts each. Yulong put on an exaggerated expression. So what if I like yellow peach desserts? The audience reacted to his antics. Doesn't everyone know Kimmy hates sweets? He's just showing off. He'll do anything for attention. Listening to the surrounding comments, Zeely analyzed the situation. He looks so uncomfortable. There's more to this than meets the eye. The live taste test concluded with Yulong's successful, if unusual, performance. Later that evening, after school, Ingyue thoughtfully made soup and brought it to Yulong's apartment. Are you really not going to eat anything? Yulong, lying listlessly on his bed, was questioning his existence. Who invented desserts anyway? Such awful stuff. I feel terrible. My stomach is churning. Ingyue looked at him with concern. You hate sweets so much. I thought you'd refuse. Yulong turned his head away. Knowing you, the teachers would have forced you to participate. If I hadn't known most of the ingredients were yellow peach, I wouldn't have done it either. Ingyue felt a warmth spread through her. Thank you, Yulong. Next time, I'll definitely refuse. Time flew by, and the weekend arrived. Zeely came to visit Ingyue at her apartment. Zeely soon heard a commotion next door. There's a lot of noise coming from your neighbor's apartment, she remarked to Ingyue. Ingyue followed Zeely's gaze to Yulong's door. Overcome with worry, she rushed over. Yulong, are you okay? But when she entered, she found Yulong in an embrace with another boy. Ingyue was shocked. Could her childhood friend be gay? Thankfully, the boy was Chio Chinyu, who was desperately pleading with Yulong. He wanted Yulong to join him for a talk show appearance because his own public speaking skills weren't up to par. Zeely observed the pair. These two are so different on screen compared to real life. Chio Chinyu continued to plead, with my speaking skills, there's no way I can do the talk show alone. To ease the awkwardness, Yulong invited them in to sit down. He then addressed Chio Chinyu directly. We have to grow up sometime. The reason we debuted as a group was to complement each other's weaknesses. But if we don't work hard, we'll just become dependent on each other. Chio Chinyu looked utterly dejected. He stood up abruptly, about to leave. I understand. I shouldn't rely on you. Yulong watched his heartbroken retreat and offered a conciliatory. I'm thin too. And all this time, I've been relying on a fabricated popularity. Chio Chinyu thought, no, that's not true. Yulong doesn't know how we're being manipulated. Their unhappy parting hung heavy in the air, leaving an awkward silence. Later that evening, as Ingyue saw Zeely off, Zeely remarked with surprise, I didn't realize you were such good friends with the big star. Ingyue looked troubled. I'm sorry. I feel like it would be weird to make a big deal out of it. Zeely understood. I get it. His situation is delicate. It could easily be misinterpreted. I won't tell anyone, don't worry. Seeing Zeely's understanding attitude, Ingyue felt relieved. Their meeting ended amicably. Later that night, Zeely watched the talk show Chio Chinyu had mentioned. Due to Yulong's absence, the show was a complete disaster. Chio Chinyu was incredibly nervous, unable to string together a coherent sentence. Yet the fans seemed enthralled. Watching the video, Zeely couldn't comprehend their reaction. However, as an artist, his attention was drawn to Chio Chinyu's facial structure, which he found near perfect. Meanwhile, Yulong's manager contacted him. Shuanjing Television was casting for a new miniseries called Father and Son. I've arranged for you to participate in the auditions. It's open to everyone, from established actors to the general public. After your performance in The Gathering, this drama will be our second project. As Yulong considered the information, his manager pushed a phone towards him. On the screen was a paparazzi photo of Yulong and Ingyue together. I received this photo recently, his manager explained. You're at a crucial point in your career. You need to be more careful about your actions. Yulong looked at the photo, a shadow of disappointment crossing his face. But Ingyue and I are just friends. His manager reminded him, the public doesn't know the true nature of your relationship, and she's a regular person. Can she handle the pressure of public scrutiny? Yulong fell silent. His manager retrieved the casting information. Prepare well for the audition. Elsewhere, Ingwe was following the latest news online. The gathering was receiving rave reviews, with the cast performances being a focal point. Ingwe's gaze drifted towards Yulong. "You've got this," she thought. Following his manager's instructions, Yulong was at home, studying the script. The title, Father and Son, brought back painful memories of his parents' bitter departure 2 years prior. Lost in thought, he received a call from his manager, Long Gung. Long Gung excitedly informed him that he'd passed the initial screening and would be picked up at his apartment complex in an hour for the next round of auditions. Half a day later, Long Gung arrived as promised and drove Yulong towards Shuanjin Television Studios. On the way, Long Gung explained, "The casting for Father and Son. There are 5 other people vying for the role of the son alongside you. The director is placing a lot of emphasis on the psychological portrayal of the character. Focus on that." They soon arrived at the television station, where a throng of reporters had already gathered. Upon seeing Yulong, they surged forward, clamoring to ask their questions. From upstairs, the director noticed the commotion at the entrance. "Who's causing such a stir?" he asked. His assistant informed him, "That's Yulong from the idol duo Rank, under Shuanjin Entertainment. Rank is popular, but most of their fans are there for Chiyo Chinyu. That Kimmy, he's just a clownish sidekick in the group. I don't know what tricks he pulled to get to the second round of auditions." The director, Wen Yin, said bluntly, "My drama only needs people with actual talent." Half a day later, Yulong and Long Gung finally made their way upstairs. The audition scene involved a rebellious son wrongly accused of stealing, returning home to face his father's wrath. The required prop was a cup, with the stipulation that it must remain unbroken. Each contestant had 60 minutes to prepare in the waiting room. As the auditions began, several contestants delivered convincing portrayals of anger. However, the director remained unimpressed. The mandated use of the cup seemed to hinder their performances. Yulong, the final contestant, was next. How would he interpret the scene? As he prepared to enter, Yulong had a different understanding of the script. He believed the focus should be on the emotion, not the rules. Walking towards the stage, he pondered, why did the instructions specifically label it Scene 2, Conflict? I've read the script, Yulong mused. Why would the screenwriter dedicate equal attention to 2 such similar conflicts? Before this father-son clash, there's a similar conflict, the one between Dian Yuan and his son. If both conflicts are portrayed with the same level of anger, it'll feel redundant and lack depth. If I were in this situation, what emotions would I experience? Lost in thought, Yulong entered the audition room. He began with a self-introduction to the judges. Observing his playful demeanor, they found him unconvincing. Under their skeptical gazes, Yulong began his performance. The acting coach quickly got into character. "You little rascal, you have the nerve to come home? You even stooped to stealing." However, Yulong didn't respond to the line. He simply stood there, frozen. The acting coach was taken aback. Only the director noticed something different. He seems different now. He's actually shifted the atmosphere around him. As confusion rippled through the room, Yulong finally moved. He picked up a water pitcher and poured himself a glass. The acting coach, playing along, continued, "Dad's talking to you. Why aren't you answering?" But then, reconsidering, the acting coach decided the father's reaction should be more enraged. He reached out as if to strike Yulong. "What's this attitude? I'm asking you why you stole." Caught off guard, Yulong instinctively blocked the blow with the hand holding the glass. The force of the impact sent the water splashing everywhere, drenching him. He stood there, clutching the glass for a moment, then suddenly hurled it at the acting coach. The director watched intently. From silence, Yulong's performance had erupted into startling rage. But was it still the same uninspired portrayal as the other contestants? The other judges murmured their disappointment. The same unoriginal approach. These kids all think alike. But the next second, they were all speechless. Yulong stopped, his whole body shaking with sobs. "Why don't you ever believe me?" The director studied his final expression. It perfectly captured the characteristic reluctance to explain, the lack of openness so common at that age. He considered Yulong's performance from the beginning, the initial silence in response to his father's accusations, then the chilling expression after being splashed with water, catching the father off guard, and finally, the sudden surge of anger, so unexpected, just when they expected an outburst of violence. It dissolved into a heartbreaking plea, the raw vulnerability of a child seeking a parent's understanding. The director deeply moved, began to applaud, rising to his feet. He extended his hand to Yulong. "I finally found him. Brilliant. Tina, your performance was astonishing. I never imagined someone your age could have such a profound understanding of this character's psychological complexities." Yulong shook the director's hand. "Thank you for your encouragement." The director's heart skipped a beat as he saw the look on Yulong's face. Such profound sadness. Could this be his true nature? Was the clownish persona just another act? Unbeknownst to the director, the performance he had just witnessed was born from a deeply etched memory. Since the incident 2 years ago, every night when Yulong returned home, he was greeted by a dark, empty house. That day, 2 years ago, his parents had berated him for shaming them. No one had asked him why he had fought. Neighbors had gathered to gawk. His friends had distanced themselves. Humiliated, Yulong had said things he didn't mean. But Ingwe had told him it was okay not to smile when he was hurting. He had believed then that she was the only one in the world who trusted him. And it was that trust that had sustained him ever since. After securing the role, lost in his memories, Yulong saw a familiar figure downstairs. Ingwe was waiting for him. Her face lit up when she saw him. "Yulong, you're back." "Ingwe, what are you doing here? I saw your lights were off and thought you hadn't come home yet." Her words filled him with a sense of peace. Someone was waiting for the lights to come on in his house. "I've always believed," he thought, "that the one who truly believes in me, in my music, is my real family." The next day, the scene shifted to Shuinjin High School. Students were buzzing with excitement. Luo Changjun, the student council president, had returned from an inter-school exchange program. He was highly regarded by his peers. Student council president and the principal's son. Coincidentally, he and Yulong were both in class 4 their second year. Their homeroom teacher was a middle-aged woman who taught history. During class that day, the teacher suddenly noticed Yulong at his desk. "Oh, the big star has finally decided to grace us with his presence. Every exam, it's you lot who drag the class average down. I really don't understand students like you. What can you possibly learn by showing up at school every once in a blue moon? Idle stars just rely on their looks. What are you going to do without an education?" The sudden attack caught Yulong completely off guard. Before he could formulate a response, Luo Changjun, sitting beside him, stood up. "Teacher, I disagree with your assessment. Have you ever seen Yulong's acting?" The homeroom teacher pushed up his glasses. "I hardly have the free time to watch that sort of thing," Luo Changjun countered. "If you haven't engaged with that field, what qualifies you to judge it? Everyone has their own specialty. Isn't that what you teach us?" The teacher was left speechless. Yulong shot Luo Changjun a grateful look. After class, he expressed his thanks in person and treated him to a drink. Faced with Yulong's gratitude, Luo Changjun said frankly, "I just can't stand that kind of behavior. They're all your students, yet you treat them differently. Everyone has their own dreams, their own hurdles to overcome. Everyone's putting in the effort." Yulong looked dejected, "But we're still students. There are some things we can't avoid." Luo Changjun patted his shoulder. "I've decided to tutor you. Are you free this weekend? We can't let the teacher look down on us in the midterms." The arrangement, set for Sunday, left Yulong somewhat bemused, as he hadn't even voiced any struggles with his studies. However, Luo Changjun, a natural leader, had already begun making plans. He decided to hold a study group at Yulong's apartment. Yulong went home and told Ingwe about it. Ingwe looked at him in surprise. "Yulong, you actually didn't refuse?" Yulong replied with a sigh. I felt a certain authority in his words. Or maybe it's because it's the first time I felt accepted by a classmate. Sunday arrived, and Yulong woke up early to get ready. Suddenly, Chiu Chinyu called. As soon as he answered, Chiu Chinyu's voice filled the line. "My magazine shoot finished early. Are you free today?" Yulong replied, "Some classmates are coming over for a study group." A surprised Chiu Chinyu declared he wanted to join too. An hour later, the three of them met at Yulong's apartment. Yulong quickly made the introductions. "This is my classmate, Luo Changjun. This is my partner, Chiu Chinyu." The two exchanged greetings and considered themselves acquainted. Luo Changjun studied Chiu Chinyu. "I'm sensing some serious hostility," he thought, dismissing it as his imagination. In this slightly awkward atmosphere, he began tutoring Yulong. Chiu Chinyu sat and watched them intently. "First, you need to understand this formula. Then, substitute this value." As he watched the two draw closer, he couldn't sit still any longer. He stood up and planted himself between them. I don't understand this one either. Could you explain it to me, too? With Chiu Chenyu's intermittent, yet effective, disruptions, Luo Changjun continued tutoring until sunset. As he turned to leave, Luo Changjun felt a wave of relief. He felt burdened by a palpable sense of hostility all afternoon. Yulong, too, had noticed the strange atmosphere. After seeing Luo Changjun off, he said, "Chenyu, you seem a little unfriendly towards Changjun." Chiu Chenyu scowled. "Did I? I was just being myself." He picked up his scarf from the table. "It's getting late. I should go." "Is the study group on again next weekend?" Yulong asked. "I have a fashion magazine shoot next weekend, so it'll be paused." Hearing this, Chiu Chenyu finally relaxed as he headed downstairs. After calling his driver, he spotted Ingwe. "Isn't that the girl who lives next door to Yulong?" he thought. "She's looking at our new album poster." He approached her. "It's late. What are you doing?" Ingwe turned around. "Excuse me, who are you?" Chiu Chenyu was taken aback. She was just looking at our poster, and now she's asking who I am? He glanced back at the poster and realized Ingwe's gaze had never left Yulong's image. Suddenly, Ingwe's mother called, urging her to come home. Ingwe hurried inside. Chiu Chenyu watched her go, bewildered. "She doesn't even remember my face. What strange girl." The following weekend arrived quickly. Yulong went to his magazine shoot as planned. His partner turned out to be a sweet-faced girl with bright pink hair. The photo shoot featuring Yulong and his partner was a resounding success. Almost every shot was perfect on the first take. During a break in filming, the girl jogged over to where Yulong was resting. They chatted like old friends reunited after years apart. Quickly settling into a seat opposite him, the girl couldn't contain her excitement. "I can't believe we actually got the chance to work together. I was so surprised when I got the job. I feel like your acting style has changed recently. Are you switching to a more traditional idol route?" They discussed recent developments in their respective careers. Their collaboration proved highly successful, wrapping up the shoot well ahead of schedule. Neither of them anticipated, however, the uproar their magazine spread would cause back at school. Whispers and speculations filled the hallways. Everyone was talking about the apparent closeness between the girl and Yulong. It turned out the girl's name was Ling Ting, a second-year student at Shuanjin High School. Known for her vivacious personality, she was a model for a popular teen magazine and had recently gained online fame through a series of viral photos. Fueling the gossip, Ling Ting unexpectedly showed up at school, seeking out Ingwe. She rushed forward and embraced her with an enthusiastic hug. "Ingwe, it's so good to see you. I missed you so much. You're still so busy even after all this time." Ingwe was completely taken aback by this sudden display of affection. The surrounding students buzzed with curiosity. Liang Shuang stepped forward. "Ingwe," she asked, "can I ask what's going on here?" It came to light that Ling Ting was Ingwe's cousin. Liang Shuang was puzzled. "If you're so close with your cousin," she questioned, "why would you spread rumors about a relationship with her favorite idol?" Ling Ting grabbed the magazine and pointed at Yulong. "But he's clearly my—" Before she could finish her sentence, Ingwe pulled her away. "Ling Ting, we haven't seen each other in so long. I have something to tell you. Come with me." It was obvious Ingwe was trying to prevent Ling Ting from revealing any more shocking information. Li Ku and Liang Shuang exchanged knowing glances, speculating wildly. They suspected Ling Ting had been about to say cousin-in-law, suggesting she wasn't actually interested in Yulong romantically. Meanwhile, Ingwe led Ling Ting to a secluded spot. "Cousin," she pleaded, "can you please stop teasing us like you did when we were kids?" Ling Ting gave an awkward laugh. "Sorry, I was just so excited to see you." Ingwe, however, clarified, "Yulong and I are just childhood friends." This statement made Ling Ting's heart skip a beat. Just friends? She thought. Are these two really that oblivious? She decided she would have to nudge them in the right direction. With this thought in mind, she pulled something out of her bag. It was an early birthday present for Ingwe. As Ingwe expressed her gratitude, Ling Ting spotted Luo Changjun behind her and suddenly tensed up. "Ingwe, I just remembered I have something to do. Gotta go." Just as she was about to slip away, Luo Changjun called after her. "Ling Ting, get back here. You're wearing makeup to school again." And so began a chase, with Ling Ting fleeing and Luo Changjun in hot pursuit. The scene shifted to Chiu Chenyu, who was furiously confronting his manager. "What kind of play script is this? I've had enough. Yulong is a member of the group too, but he gets assigned a role like this? How is this supposed to be good for his career? I seriously doubt it." The manager remained silent. Yulong, on the other hand, calmly accepted the role. This only fueled Chiu Chenyu's frustration. "Why? This role assignment is completely really unfair. Can't you at least protest a little? Yulong replied. I know, but I don't think running away will solve anything. Seeing Yulong's resolve, Cho Chin-yu turned and stormed out. I don't understand. I wouldn't take this play. Watching him go, the manager sighed and spoke to Yulong. Although Chin-yu's concern for you is genuine, he still has that connection with that person. We can't tell him yet. Yulong looked at the script in his hand, a thoughtful expression on his face. Understand, he murmured. The next day, in the art room at Shuinjin High School, Zeely was painting when she heard a commotion outside. I really saw him. He was even wearing a Minga high school uniform. Do you think he's still around? Hurry, let's go after him. Zeely put down her brush. What's going on out there? Just as she flung open the door, she collided with Chio Chin-yu, who was passing by. Several girls who had been pursuing him reached the corner of the hallway, clearly having spotted the celebrity. With quick thinking, Zeely pulled Chio Chin-yu into the art room and signaled him to be quiet. The close proximity between them made Chio Chin-yu's eyes widen. A knock came at the door. Is anyone in there? Zeely, left with no other choice, walked out alone. He saw two girls. It was obvious they were looking for Chio Chin-yu. What do you want? The two girls seemed a little nervous, facing Zeely. Have you seen any non-students come through here? Would you mind letting us look in the art room? Zeely's expression turned icy. Are you kidding? Two students with absolutely no interest in art want to come in for that reason? What do you take the sacred art room for? The chilling aura radiating from this ice queen was so potent that even Chio Chin-yu, hiding inside the art room, felt a shiver run down his spine. Seeing his reaction, the two girls scurried away. Let's look somewhere else, one said to the other. Only after hearing their retreating footsteps did Chio Chin-yu peek his head out. That was close. If those girls had found me, the consequences would have been unimaginable. I'd probably be dead before they even found Yulong. Zeely looked at his clothes. You're wearing a Minga High uniform here at Shuinjin. It's a miracle you haven't been spotted already. Why didn't you just call him? Chio Chin-yu answered dejectedly. We had a bit of fight yesterday, and he hasn't answered my calls all day. Zeely picked up the thread. So you got more and more worried and decided to come to our school to find him? A look of dejection crossed Chio Chin-yu's face. I wanted to apologize. He thinks I don't understand anything, but that's not true. Things are the way they are now, not just because of what happened a few years ago. Part of it is my fault, and the other part is because of someone's greed, he added cryptically. Zeely didn't understand what he meant. Chio Chin-yu told him, you don't need to. That's why I told you. He suddenly noticed the drawing pad in Zeely's hands. What are you drawing? He took it and saw it was a sketch of himself. Surprised, he exclaimed, You drew this? That quickly? You're amazing. It's so good. Zeely simply replied, It's because you're good looking. Though Chio Chin-yu was used to compliments on his appearance and acknowledged them himself, he was still embarrassed by Zeely's bluntness. He put the drawing pad away and turned to Zeely. Speaking of which, I've heard Shuinjin has a genius artist. So it's you. Zeely, unfazed by the praise, asked, Would you be willing to model for my next series? Just as Chio Chin-yu was considering this, Yulong burst in, frantic. Chin-yu, I heard there's someone who looks like Wong being chased by girls towards the art room, and then he disappeared. He grabbed Chio Chin-yu excitedly. Are you crazy? The fangirls are like wolves right now, and you dare to come in here wearing another school's uniform? Chio Chin-yu said frankly, I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to apologize. The tension between them instantly dissipated. Even Zeely couldn't help but remark, You two have a strong bond. Meanwhile, Ingwe was admiring a gift from Ling Ting, a pink dress. He couldn't put it down. Sister Ling Ting never forgets my birthday. Of course, it wasn't just Ling Ting. Zeely had also sent him a portrait. Li Ku and Liang Shuang had given him a mountain of Kimi photos. As Ingwe was basking in the affection, his mother's voice called out, Ingwe, the show's starting. He went out to find his mother, holding the remote. Which channel is Yulong's father-son drama on? Aren't you going to watch it with us, Ingwe? I made snacks for him too. Ingwe quickly joined her in front of the TV. I just saw him heading towards the neighborhood pond from the balcony. His mother found the program. It was showing a clip of Yulong's audition. When they reached the part where Yulong tearfully asked, Why? Don't you ever believe me? Ingwe was stunned. He dropped his snack and ran outside. His mother called after him. Ingwe, where are you going? Your father's almost home. He didn't answer, running downstairs into the quiet night. He quickly reached the pond. Yulong was there, just as his mother had said. Ingwe slowly approached him. What kind of emotions was he feeling when he said those lines? What is he doing? Yulong was looking up at a particular apartment balcony. The family inside was also watching father and son. When Yulong noticed Yue, overcome with emotion, he began to pour out his heart. This is the first time I've watched my own performance from an outsider's perspective. I always resented my parents for not believing me. I'm their son. That fight, I was just defending myself. I never imagined what would happen afterwards. But now I understand. Why didn't I just calmly tell them the truth? Because we haven't told each other what's in our hearts. This is the result. In the end, I don't really trust my parents either. We all lack trust in each other. From now on, I won't run away anymore. Someday, I'll make them see a brand new sun on screen, even if they're overseas. He placed a lotus lantern into the pond, a gesture symbolizing his intention to be reborn from the ashes. Yue listened intently to his heartfelt confession, a comforting smile gracing her lips. She then placed her hand over Yulong's, as if to say, "No matter what happens, I'll be with you." Under the starry night sky, a full moon captured this beautiful moment. It was a mark of their pure and innocent youth. After a moment of reflection, Yulong turned to Yue. "Oh, right, I almost forgot. The Mid-Autumn Festival is your birthday." He pulled an exquisite gift box from his pocket. "Happy birthday, Yue." Inside was a beautiful necklace. Yue's face lit up with excitement. "Thank you, Yulong." She then pulled out a stack of Yulong's photos. "Oh, and this is one of the gifts I received." Yulong recoiled, pushing the photos away. "Don't look at those in front of me. I've told you so many times. I'm right here next to you." Seeing Yulong's embarrassment, Yue put the photos away. All right, let's go back. Mom made your favorite food." The two of them went upstairs, their receding figures disappearing from view like their fleeting youth. How wonderful they were back then. Upstairs, Yue's father was home, reading the newspaper on the sofa. He welcomed the young celebrity. It was time for mooncakes, a mid-autumn festival tradition. Soon, the two youngsters were seated at the dining table, happily digging in. That day, seeing Yulong finally emerge from his shadows, Yue felt it was the happiest birthday and mid-autumn festival she had ever experienced. Their relationship took a new turn. Meanwhile, at Shuanjin High School, other stories of youth were unfolding. Lingting snuck into the classroom. Just when she thought she was safe, Luo Changjun appeared behind her like a ghost. "Lingting, I've told you countless times not to wear makeup to school. You're still a high school student. And that flashy hairstyle." Faced with the student council president's reprimand, Lingting tried to defend herself. "That's because I have to go back to another photo shoot after this class." However, Lingting's fans witnessed the whole scene. "Luo Changjun is bullying our goddess again." Luo Changjun continued his lecture. "Even though you always use work as an excuse, it still affects the other students." After Lingting left, her devoted fans gathered behind Luo Changjun. "We have to teach him a lesson. We have to stand up for our goddess." Just then, a girl suddenly ran up to Luo Changjun. "Senior, I don't quite understand this problem." With Luo Changjun momentarily stopped, countless girls swarmed him under the pretense of asking for help. Lingting's fans hid in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. However, after waiting for a long time, Luo Changjun was called away by the student council. Lingting's fans had no choice but to follow. After he finished his student council duties, a teacher needed him. Watching him run around all day, the fans couldn't bring themselves to act. "I really don't understand why everyone trusts this guy." They continued to monitor his every move. Finally, they found their chance when Luo Changjun went to the restroom. While washing his hands, Luo Changjun realized his glasses were gone. He had no choice but to stumble back to the classroom, practically blind with his severe nearsightedness. In his blurred world, he couldn't distinguish between people and objects, even apologizing profusely to a trash can he bumped into. The surrounding students murmured, "Senior Qingjun really is as blind as they say." Amidst the whispers, Lingting, having removed her makeup, suddenly approached. Seeing Luo Changjun's disheveled state, she thought, could it have been those idiots? Meanwhile, the triumphant fans were reveling in their victory. Luo Changjun's weakness really is his terrible eyesight. Let's see if he dares to bully our goddess again. As they were gloating, Lingting burst into the room. "I knew someone as cautious as Luo Changjun wouldn't just lose his glasses. I knew you guys were behind this. Isn't this childish enough? Give them back." Seeing their goddess furious, the fans obediently handed over the glasses. After retrieving them, Lingting learned that Luo Changjun was in the library. So, Lingting jogged all the way there. She quickly found him. Luo Changjun, without his glasses, couldn't read and was lying on the table, resting. Lingting, seeing him asleep, didn't want to disturb him and approached cautiously. She had intended to just leave the glasses and go, but the faint sound of setting them down startled Luo Changjun awake. Suddenly, a hand grabbed Lingting's wrist. Unable to see clearly, Luo Changjun pulled Lingting closer. He caught the scent of perfume and realized with a jolt that it was a girl. At this close proximity, he could make out her features. It was Lingting. The unexpected closeness made Lingting blush crimson. Instinctively, she pushed him away with a slap. Luo Changjun fumbled for his glasses and put them on. "Thank you for bringing my glasses back," he said. Lingting, her expression surprised, replied, "You didn't suspect I took them?" Luo Changjun stood up slowly. "I lost them in the men's restroom. It's obvious it wasn't you. Besides, you wouldn't do something so pointless." He added, "All right, go back to class." Lingting pondered his words, watching his retreating back. "I always thought Luo Changjun had a prejudice against me," she thought, "but he said he trusted me." She ran after him. "Luo Changjun, you're so annoying," she called out, her words a testament to the shift in her perception of him. That afternoon, Lingting arrived at the advertising shoot location. Seeing the bustling crew, she hurried over to greet them. Yulong, spotting her, looked surprised. "What are you doing here?" Yulong was among the crowd, a makeup artist working on his face. Lingting smiled. "We booked this location for a photo shoot in an hour." Yulong rubbed his head ruefully. "Looks like we might be holding you up. The director keeps saying I can't express the feeling of affection. I'm still taking a break to try and get into character." Lingting, surprised, pointed to a beautiful woman nearby. "No way. You're working with Zhang Qian, the most popular teen idol right now. As a guy, you must have at least a little crush on her, right?" Yulong turned to look at Zhang Qian. "But I don't find her that cute." Lingting froze. "You're indifferent to a girl of that caliber? Haven't you ever found any girl cute?" She thought to herself, could Yulong be gay? Could his true love be Qiu Chenyu? Yulong spoke earnestly. "Yes, there is. Yingwei is 1,000 times cuter than Zhang Qian." Lingting's heart fluttered. She leaned closer to Yulong and whispered in his ear, "Do you know what this means? I'll teach you a trick." She murmured something in his ear. What exactly she said remains a mystery for now. Soon after, the crew called them back, and the shoot resumed. Once everything was ready, Yulong and Zhang Qian took their places. Yulong grabbed Zhang Qian's wrist and demanded angrily, "Wait, why are you leaving?" Zhang Qian's expression was tinged with sadness. "Because I'm nothing to you." Lingting watched them from the sidelines. She had told Yulong to try imagining the other person as Yingwei. Following her advice, Yulong closed his eyes briefly to compose himself. He managed to do it, picturing Zhang Qian as Yingwei. He then placed his hand on Zhang Qian's shoulder. Everyone held their breath, surprised by his deviation from the script. Even Zhang Qian seemed taken aback. But when she saw Yulong's expression, she was even more astonished. His eyes were clear and resolute as he declared, "You mean a lot to me." This unexpected move actually made Zhang Qian blush. After a moment of stunned silence, the set erupted in cheers. They all praised Yulong's incredible performance. Lingting joined in, shouting, "Way to go, future cousin-in-law." News of this impressive acting quickly reached Yingwei. Watching the breathtakingly beautiful actress in the clip, she couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. She immediately looked up Zhang Qian's information. Discovering she was a popular commercial star, Yingwei felt even more disheartened. As she stared at the magazine, lost in thought, Yulong suddenly climbed in through the window, startling Yingwei. The magazine slipped from her grasp and landed on her laptop. The chain reaction caused Yulong to lose his balance and fall backward. He instinctively put his hand out to brace his fall, but a sharp crack and a jolt of pain told him he'd twisted his wrist. Yingwei rushed to his side, taking his wrist gently and trying to ease the pain. Faced with Yingwei's apology, even though he was feeling unwell, Yulong still tried his best to comfort her. But unconsciously, Yingwei looked up and noticed, almost instinctively, that Yulong seemed to have grown taller recently. "It seems like not long ago, we were almost the same height," she mused. It was a feeling anyone could relate to. Holding his hand, Yingwei also felt that his hand had grown larger. A rush of memories flooded her mind, as if they had just met yesterday. There's a kind of affection called childhood sweethearts. Growing up together through the changing seasons, they shared a wonderful childhood. But faced with the sudden onset of adolescence, Ingwe felt strangely out of place. Some things that used to feel natural now felt difficult to say. Lost in these thoughts, Yulong noticed her unusual silence. He took her hand. Ingwe, what's wrong? Her thoughts interrupted. Ingwe looked up at his handsome face. It was a face she knew so well, yet her heart raced inexplicably. Something was quietly blossoming within Ingwe's heart. The scene shifts to Shuinjin High School. The students were gossiping, as they always did. Did you hear? Zili actually came in second in the art competition. Coming in second once wouldn't normally be a big deal, but losing to a newcomer. Zili stood before his artwork, looking dejected. The whispers around him were relentless. He must be devastated. Hit a creative block, maybe? Wonder what he'll show at his solo exhibition next spring. Zili stared at the second-place medal affixed to his painting. He recalled the judge's words. Your piece has form, but no feeling. He slowly took the painting down. A ripping sound echoed as the canvas tore. Just as he was about to destroy completely, a hand stopped him. It was Chiochinyu, bundled in warm clothes. He looked at Zili, puzzled. What are you doing? You're tearing your own work? Zili turned, surprised. Chiochinyu? What are you doing here? You asked me if I wanted to be your model. I'm here to give you my answer. Zili put down his painting and started gathering his other sketches. He told Chiochinyu, the first-place winner gets a scholarship to the École Nationale Supérieure de Beaux-Arts in Paris. I was so focused on what the judges would like that I forgot about just painting well. Chiochinyu replied, what's truly painful isn't losing the competition. It's feeling like you compromise your integrity to please others. You don't need to be so hard on yourself. You just wanted to sacrifice a little pride for a better opportunity. It's easy to lose yourself when you care too much about something. Not many people get to do what they love and use their talents like you do. I envy you, being able to do what you love. Chiochinyu shared that. As a child, his uncle had high hopes for him, wanting him to become a successful actor like himself. But Chiochinyu's dream was to be a singer, a dream his uncle had ruthlessly dismissed. After Chiochinyu shared his story, Zili felt his own spirits lift. Chiochinyu stepped forward confidently. And besides, you don't need to worry, because you have a perfect model like me. Zili's face lit up. That's right, I have Chiochinyu, with his perfect features, aloof aura, and flawless appearance. Chiochinyu, used to Zili's serious nature, couldn't help but laugh. Sometimes, people say things like that hoping for a playful retort, not earnest praise. He picked up his guitar and began to play, a youthful melody that seemed to guide Zili toward a new direction. Meanwhile, in Class 4 of the second year, Luo Changjun was carrying a box out of the classroom. Yulong happened to be passing by. Remembering how he'd helped before, Yulong offered to lend a hand. Luo Changjun was grateful for the timely assistance. At least he wouldn't be worked to the bone. Following Luo Changjun's directions, they carried the box to the student council room. Coincidentally, Ingwe was there. Luo Changjun even asked Yulong to put the box next to her. Caught off guard by the unexpected encounter, they both tacitly pretended not to know each other. But their clumsy act didn't fool Luo Changjun. Do you two know each other? You seem quite familiar. He explained his reasoning. First, the distance between you. It's intimate, not the usual social distance. And someone like Ingwe always keeps a certain distance from strangers, especially boys. Just now, when you took the craft knife, your shoulder brushed against Ingwe's, but she didn't flinch at all. This shows she's completely used to physical contact with you. So, I think you two not only know each other, but are quite close. Faced with such irrefutable evidence, neither of you had any room for rebuttal, nor did you try to offer any excuses. It seems this Luo Changjun is not someone to be trifled with. Ingwe quickly relayed this to Ling Ting, who upon hearing it, practically yelled, "What? Luo Changjun knows." But Luo Changjun isn't one to gossip, so there's no need to worry. Thankfully, because of Yulong's special status, Luo Changjun agreed not to tell anyone. Just then, Zili suddenly ran over. Ingwe, I finally found you. My family is having a Christmas party on Christmas Eve. Will you come too? Before Ingwe could respond, Zili noticed Ling Ting. This is Ling Ting, she said, introducing herself generously. As Ingwe added that Ling Ting was her cousin, Zili suddenly turned and bypassed Ingwe going straight to Lingting. Lingting, you should come too. This left Ingwe feeling rather awkward. In the end, both sisters dressed up and attended Zeely's Christmas party as planned. Upon entering and seeing Zeely's luxurious home, they felt like country bumpkins in a grand mansion. Zeely, your house is so beautiful. Just like the rumors said, the family butler politely took their coats and put them away. Zeely responded to the compliments graciously. You two look stunning. Just then, Luo Changjun suddenly appeared behind Lingting and immediately doused her with a bucket of cold water. Your makeup is too heavy. Lingting turned around, shocked to see his face. Luo Changjun, what are you doing here? Zeely stepped in to explain. My dad and the principal are friends, so Luo Changjun comes every year. As Lingting processed this, Luo Changjun offered her a glass of champagne. Seeing his gentlemanly manner, she was quite surprised. This was clearly different from his rigid image at school. Just as Lingting decided to see him in a new light, she took a sip of the champagne and made a face. It's apple cider. Luo Changjun observed her reaction. Did you think it was champagne? We're still high school students. His words instantly erased any goodwill Lingting had felt. Meanwhile, Ingwe was on the phone with Yulong. Yulong told her that his camping trip with Rank was almost over. Where are you now? He asked. Ingwe told him she was at Zeely's. Overhearing this, Zeely generously extended an invitation to them. Half an hour later, Yulong and Chiu Chenyu arrived at the party together. Luo Changjun suddenly walked up to Chiu Chenyu. You're wearing makeup? I must be seeing things. Chiu Chenyu was surprised to see him. I just came straight from a shoot. Do you have a problem with that? I don't have a problem with it. You seem to have a problem with me. Seeing the tension escalating, Zeely quickly pulled Chiu Chenyu away. Come to my room. This startled Luo Changjun. Just as he was about to follow them, Lingting stopped him. Luo Changjun, where are you going? Leave him alone. Meanwhile, Yulong was suddenly pulled aside by the director to discuss something and had to leave abruptly. As for Chiu Chenyu, whom Zeely had whisked away, it turned out she was needed as a model. Zeely insisted on drawing her while she was still in her makeup. The party ended pleasantly, and everyone left happy, except for Ingwe, who returned home feeling downcast. Looking at the familiar window, she thought, we always used to celebrate holidays together. Yulong was like part of our family. But moments like today will become more and more frequent, won't they? Yulong is working so hard. He'll probably be increasingly busy. The thought of growing distant from him saddened her. Lost in thought, Ingwe waited by the window. She didn't know how much time had passed before she drifted off to sleep. Suddenly, a voice at the window startled her. Ingwe, I'm sorry I'm late. Ingwe quickly pulled back the curtains. It was Yulong. He pulled a bag from behind his back. I brought you a fruitcake, without peaches. Ingwe took the cake and opened it. I was just thinking that you'll probably be busier with work and we won't be able to celebrate holidays together like we used to. Yulong stepped inside and came closer. That's true. Special occasions often mean more work. But don't worry, I'll always make time to celebrate with you. Ingwe asked, what if you're out of town? Yulong quickly pulled out his phone. Then we can video call. This didn't entirely reassure Ingwe. But there will be times when that's not possible, right? But if that happens, it means I'm getting closer to my dreams. That's a good thing, right? Yulong playfully headbutted Ingwe. But my eagerness to spend the holidays with you, wasn't that enough? I've worked so hard to maintain our holiday traditions since we were kids. It would be really upsetting if they were broken. Ingwe returned the headbutt. Right, there might be a lot of changes in the future, but as long as we know we're both trying, moving towards each other, we'll have the determination to persevere. Yulong had finally made it back to spend Christmas Eve with Ingwe. After the two drifted off to sleep, nestled together, Ingwe's mother entered the room. Looking at them fondly, she thoughtfully switched off the light. Just as she closed the door behind her, she ran into Ingwe's father. Are they asleep? Let's talk. Shortly after, the two sat down on the sofa. Ingwe's mother poured tea and offered her husband a glass of water. He got straight to the point. Yulong's parents are always away. He's been coming to our house since he was little. He's like a son to us. But he's a celebrity. He's under a lot of pressure from public opinion. I don't want Ingwe to get any more involved with him. I don't want her to get hurt. I'll find an opportunity to talk to her. Ingwe's mother didn't say much in response. Clearly, her husband held the authority in the family. The next day, on the basketball court, Luo Changjun was dribbling and shooting hoops while Lingting, Ingwe, and Zeely, the three friends, chatted on the sidelines. Lingting complained, oh my god, if I bomb these final exams, my dad's going to make me stop all my modeling work. Maybe we should start a study group. As they talked, on the court, Luo Changjun and Yulong executed a dazzling double-team maneuver. Yulong, as if possessed by the spirit of a professional player, launched a three-pointer from an incredible distance. With a satisfying swish, the ball went straight through the net. A chorus of cheers erupted from the girls watching. Yulong's coolness was undeniable. The three friends off the court were startled by the sudden outburst. The two players walked off the court for a break. The girls, seeing them approach, became even more excited. "Oh my God, they're coming this way." To their surprise, the two boys walked right up to them. "What are you three doing here?" Ingwe explained, "We're talking about studying together for the exams this weekend. It would be even better if Changjun could join us too." Ling Ting, horrified, tried to intervene. "Ingwe, inviting him is like signing my death warrant. Besides, I can't teach you second-year material." Unexpectedly, Luo Changjun readily agreed. "Okay, I'll join you." "Yulong, are you in too?" Ling Ting was speechless. Then Ingwe turned to Zili. "Will you join us too? It's rare to see you with a math book." Zili flipped the book over. "Yeah, I'm in a bit of a creative slump lately. I've found that doodling in my textbooks is inspiring." After a moment of awkward silence, they finally decided to hold the study group at Zili's house. The weekend arrived quickly. Xiao, having heard about the study group from Yulong, secretly tagged along. The moment he stepped inside, he and Luo Changjun locked horns. The two must have been enemies in a past life. Zili, to welcome everyone, had specially asked the pastry chef to make cookies. However, he forgot to tell the chef to leave out the peaches. Ling Ting, oblivious, munched away happily. Ingwe, on the other hand, was not deterred. She started feeding the peach-filled cookies to Yulong. Since childhood, Yulong had always eaten anything with peaches for Ingwe. The others watched, grinding their teeth. It was a classic bait-and switch. After the snacks, everyone quickly settled into studying. Luo Chengjun helped Yulong, and Ingwe helped Zili with math. The other two were essentially just there for the ride, especially Ling Ting, who had been sleeping since they started. When Luo Changjun suggested a break, Ling Ting suddenly perked up. "I saw a new bubble tea shop nearby when I arrived. I'll go get some for everyone." She started to get up, but Luo Changjun grabbed her arm. "You've been sleeping the whole time. You definitely can't take a break with everyone else." And so, Ling Ting was dragged off to the second-floor study by Luo Changjun for some one-on-one tutoring. Seeing this, Ingwe pulled Yulong up. "Then we'll go get the bubble tea." After they left, only Zili and Xiao remained in the room. Zili picked up the remote and turned on the TV. "Want to watch a movie?" Xiao, intrigued, sat down on the sofa behind him. "What movie?" "Don't tell me it's an art film. It's from my private collection. The picture quality is amazing." As the images flickered on the screen, Sadako crawled out of a dry well, nearly scaring Xiao out of his wits. Meanwhile, upstairs in the study, Ling Ting was forced down onto the desk. Did this mean she would finally start studying? Not all. Luo Changjun, lounging with his chin in his hand, drawled, "Hey, Luo Changjun, has anyone ever told you look better without your glasses?" Luo Changjun, hearing his own name, pushed his glasses down his nose. Instantly, the beautiful girl before him transformed into a talking pig. Startled, he quickly shoved his glasses back into place. Ling Ting, seeing this, suddenly reached out to take his glasses off, but Luo Changjun slapped her hand away with a sharp crack. Before Ling Ting could react to what had just happened, he pressed a ballpoint pen into her palm. Then, Luo Changjun told her, "Do the exercises on pages 120 to 140 for me." Judging by Ling Ting's expression, this demand was worse than death. Downstairs, a truly terrifying scene unfolded on the television screen. Xiao, utterly petrified, clung tightly to Zili from behind. Zili looked back at him. "Are you scared of horror movies?" Xiao, embarrassed, quickly let go and feigned nonchalance. "Of course not. How could I be scared of something like this?" However, Zili clearly had a way of dealing with his bravado. She rewound to the previous scene, making Xiao shriek and wail in terror. Ingwe and Yulong returned with milk tea, witnessing the strange dynamic between the two. Unsure how much longer this would go on, they resigned themselves to drinking their milk tea. Time flew by. Some time later, the student council members gathered for a group photo. They had just been interviewed by a teen magazine. After the interview, the editor-in-chief expressed sincere gratitude to the two student council leaders. However, the photographer who took their picture was the same paparazzi who had secretly photographed Yulong at the cinema. He approached Ingwe. Ingwe, you're so beautiful. As the student council vice president, you must have many friends, right? Like a childhood sweetheart, perhaps. His words were clearly meant to provoke Ingwe, and they affected her. She was distracted all day. Back in the classroom, her close friends were gathered together, debating who was more handsome, Yulong or Qiuqinyu. Lingting and Liang Shuang were locked in a heated discussion. Seeking validation, Lingting turned to Zili. Who do you think is more handsome? Unexpectedly, Zili replied. Their overall scores are the same. There's no comparison. This quickly sparked Li Ke's disapproval. What do you mean overall scores? Even if they're equally handsome, there's a difference in emotional connection, right? Like how Ingwe prefers Yulong. Hearing this, Zili thought to herself, I've always liked plants. I don't have a specific preference. Isn't it just about liking what's beautiful? I've never thought about having a particular favorite. As Zili pondered, Lingting suddenly noticed Ingwe's silence. What's wrong? It turned out the reporter hadn't just provoked Ingwe. He had also told her something she didn't know. He revealed that after he had taken photos of Ingwe and Yulong together, Yulong's agent had paid him off. Because of this incident, he had been fired from the entertainment magazine and forced to work for a teen magazine. The reporter continued, You can relax for now, Ingwe. Yulong's popularity is rising because of his career change, but it hasn't reached its peak yet. When it does, I'll start thinking about how to reveal your close relationship to the public. That's why I infiltrated this teen magazine, to get close to you. You got me fired last time, and I'm going to get my revenge. Hearing his intentions, Ingwe panicked. What do I have to do to make you leave Yulong alone? The reporter smiled sinisterly. Just do as I say. Soon after, a trending topic titled Shuinjinhai's Beautiful Vice President topped Weibo's headlines. The news quickly spread throughout the school. Our beautiful vice president's interview went viral. Clicking on the topic revealed a stunning photo of Ingwe without makeup. Everyone was commenting on the new campus beauty. Within a day, the number of comments reached a staggering tens of thousands. She even landed on the cover of a popular magazine. Even the magazine's editor-in-chief praised the paparazzi. The exclusive interview you proposed with Zhua Ingwe had a great response. But this kind of beautiful girl interview ends here. We are, after all, a literary magazine. He then produced a stamped document. Your proposal for a special issue on Shuinjin High School's centennial celebration has been accepted. The school has agreed as well. The paparazzi beamed. Thank you for the recommendation, editor-in-chief. I'll definitely do a good job. However, what he was really thinking was, from today onwards, I can use Shuinjin's permission to enter the school and conduct interviews anytime. A few days later, the hashtag Shuinjinhai's Beautiful Vice President Zhua Ingwe's latest daily photos once again trended online. Ingwe quickly noticed. He actually took photos of me secretly and posted them online. I was so naive. I foolishly thought that after the last interview, he would leave Yulong alone. But in reality, that reporter was hoping to use the opportunity to stir up a scandal to increase my public profile. He's waiting for the right moment to expose photos of Yulong and me together. Faced with this situation, I have absolutely no idea what to do. The news quickly caused another uproar at Shuinjin High. Everyone was talking about it. Lately, there have been tons of candid photos of Ingwe online, mostly taken at school. She's practically an internet celebrity now. That magazine interview really boosted her fame. The Weibo posts with her photos are getting a crazy number of clicks. Who took those pictures? Could she have hired someone herself? She usually seems so low-key, but agreeing to that interview made her look like she loves the spotlight. Now she's even posting photos online. Someone beautiful who doesn't like showing off probably doesn't exist. Mid-conversation, the group noticed Li Ke standing behind them. You're pretty close to Ingwe, right? What do you think? Ingwe must have her reasons for doing this, but I still think it's too showy. Amidst the gossip, the entrance to Class 4 of Year 2 was surrounded by a throng of girls. The reason? Yulong was at school today. This rare appearance by the famous star was naturally the center of attention. This conspicuous scene, however, drew complaints from the surrounding boys. Never seen so many girls here before. Guess someone's popularity is soaring. Amidst the bustling crowd, Ingwe and her friends happened to be passing by the entrance. They were quickly stopped. Your idol's here for class. The two boys who had been making sarcastic remarks noticed them. Isn't that Ingwe? I heard she's a Yulong fan too. No way. She has no taste. Yulong also noticed Ingwe in the crowd and gave her a smile. The surrounding girls, thinking the smile was directed at them, went wild. He smiled at us. He smiled. So handsome. Oh my God. He looked over here. Just as Ingwe was hiding in the crowd, caught up in the excitement, her phone suddenly rang. It was that paparazzi reporter calling. Ingwe even had him saved in her contacts as Dog. As soon as she answered, the reporter's voice came through. Ingwe, why haven't you shown up for my interviews about the school's centennial celebration preparations? It's been a week. Aren't the photos I took of you lovely? Faced with this provocation, Ingwe replied directly, I also have something I need to clear up with you. Let's meet later at the Student Council Activity Center. Elsewhere, two student council members suddenly approached Luo Changjun. The school's allocated funds for the arts department's centennial celebration have gone missing. What are we going to do? I've already reported it to the school. What can we, the student council, do now? Upon hearing this news, Luo Changjun strode purposefully towards the security office. Once there, he quickly sought help from the staff inside. Wang, have any strangers entered or exited the school in the past week? Wang scrolled through the security footage. There was a reporter with school permission who's been here all week interviewing people about the centennial celebration preparations. He paused the footage on a particular frame. This is from last week's surveillance. He's been caught on many cameras, but he's only been taking pictures. Nothing suspicious. As the footage played, Luo Changjun quickly noticed something amiss. He saw the reporter's camera secretly focused on Ingwe. He then asked the staff to pull up today's footage. When he saw Ingwe entering the Student Council Activity Center alone with the reporter, Luo Changjun's detective-like instincts immediately alerted him that something was wrong. His mind conjuring up a series of dangerous scenarios, he turned and ran towards the Student Council Activity Center. Meanwhile, the paparazzi reporter was confronting Ingwe. You think avoiding me will work? Aren't you afraid I'll release the photos of you two together? Ingwe looked at his sleazy face. I'm not afraid, and I know why you posted my photos online. I'm outnumbered and alone, so I told Mr. Long, Yulong's manager, about this. I asked for his help. Hearing this, the paparazzi slammed his fist against the wall beside Ingwe. You're pretty clever, aren't you? A big company like Shuingen Entertainment could easily pay off newspapers, magazines, and online media to suppress this whole thing. But there's something you don't know. Within Shuingen Entertainment, there's someone who's always been wary of Yulong, and this person is quite influential. Manager Long Gung is the company chairman's son, representing another faction. He's already noticed our little operation. He's been quietly trying to help Yulong transform his image and boost his popularity to rival the opposing faction. Now you know the real reason why Yulong, despite his talent, has been suppressed all this time. Naive little girl. He said this as he snatched Ingwe's phone. She was just about to call Yulong. The paparazzi, of course, wasn't going to let that happen. With a swift motion, he flung the phone away. However, unbeknownst to him, in the instant he threw the phone, the call had already connected. Yulong was in the classroom. His phone suddenly rang. Confused, he answered it. He only heard a voice say, "Last time, you got lucky that your photos weren't released. I won't be so lenient this time." Yulong's popularity is constantly rising. The value of this news is only going to increase. You understand the gravity of this situation, don't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't have agreed to meet me here at the student council office. The way you care about him, it's like you care about yourself. Hearing this, Yulong instantly sensed trouble. He jumped up and ran out. He had only one thought. Something had happened to Ingwe. Back at the student council office, the paparazzi was lifting Ingwe's hair. If a beautiful girl like you begged me, he sneered, maybe I wouldn't be so quick to announce this to the world. Provided you have something to trade with me. The paparazzi's whistle laugh echoed. Yulong burst in a whirlwind of emotion. Seeing a creepy man pawing at the woman he loved, he couldn't stand it. His young blood already hot. In that instant, rage surged through Yulong. He lashed out with an elbow, a blur of speed. A sharp crack echoed as it connected with the paparazzi's shoulder. The paparazzi, stunned by the sudden attack, stumbled backward. Yulong clearly wasn't about to let him off. His fists flew, connecting with the paparazzi's face in a flurry of blows. After venting his fury, he grabbed the man by the collar. "Who are you?" he demanded. "What are you trying to do to Ingwe?" The paparazzi, unbelievably, was still defiant. "How dare you hit me?" he shrieked. "Go ahead, keep hitting me. I won't fight back. I guess you don't care about your future. A second assault incident? That would be huge news." Yulong thought, I clearly haven't hit him hard enough. He grabbed a nearby stool, ready to send the paparazzi flying. Just then, Ingwe, who had heard the paparazzi's words, couldn't bear it any longer. She threw her arms around Yulong, stopping him. Yulong, no. If there's another assault incident, your future will be ruined. Yulong froze, the stool still in his grip. He remembered years ago, the scene of his violent outburst. That time, it was Cho-Chin-Yu being cornered by a group of thugs, knives glinting in their hands. You think you're so tough, huh? Little punks like you, trying to debut before us. We've worked so hard, and you steal our chance. Especially you, they sneered at Cho-Chin-Yu. Fresh back from overseas, can't even speak proper Chinese. All you have are your family connections. Let's see what you can do with a ruined face. Just as one of them lunged with the knife, Yulong had charged in, tackling the attacker. But the thug was bigger, and he didn't fall. He grabbed Yulong. You little brat, you've got guts, trying to stop us. You're next. With a sickening crack, his fist connected with Yulong's face. Cho-Chin-Yu watched in horror. He'd never seen anything like this. He could only cry out Yulong's name. Yulong, knocked to the ground, blood trickling from his lip, struggled to get up. The memory of that past helplessness, now replaying before his beloved, fueled his rage. He couldn't take it anymore. With all his might, he raised the stool to bring it down on the paparazzi. Yue, sensing his intent, threw herself against him, tears streaming down her face, trying to stop him. Just as he felt he was losing control, Yulong suddenly stopped. He looked up, confused, to see Luo Chengjun had arrived, blocking the blow. Yulong calmed down, but Yulong, lost in his fury, didn't seem to hear. Luo Chengjun shouted again, desperately. Yulong, calm down. Look at Yue. This seemed to penetrate the haze of anger. Yulong looked down. Yue was sobbing, her face streaked with tears. In that instant, nothing else mattered. He felt a pang of guilt, seeing the pain he'd caused the woman he loved. He dropped the stool and pulled Yue into his arms, holding her close, trying to soothe her fear. After that, the room fell silent, eerily so. Where had the paparazzi gone? Luo Chengjun glanced back and saw the reporter, his face beaten to a pulp, slumped on the floor. Incredibly, the paparazzi played the victim. Student Council President, you're just in time. Please call the police. There's been an assault here. Knowing they couldn't let things escalate, Luo Chengjun tried to appease the reporter. I apologize for our student hitting you, but I hope you won't press charges. The paparazzi gave a sinister smile. No way. I'm going to blow this thing wide open. Luo Chengjun adjusted his glasses, his expression unreadable. Do you know why I'm here? Because I saw you enter with Yue on the security footage. You've been at the school all week. Coincidentally, that's when the arts department's funding went missing. The paparazzi retorted, don't try to pin that on me. I had permission to be here. You did have permission, but you've been in off-limits areas multiple times. Areas that include, shall we say, the location where the funds disappeared. If I give this footage to the police, even if you're innocent, you'll be brought in for questioning. That's not going to be pleasant. The paparazzi scoffed, thinking Luo Chengjun was bluffing. You're joking. I haven't broken any laws. What can they do to me? Luo Chengjun replied calmly. Are you sure about that? The footage shows you constantly taking pictures of Yue, and there's a sudden surge of her photos online. The police just need to analyze the angles to prove they're yours. That's invasion of privacy. Yue has grounds to sue you. The paparazzi stood up and snorted. So, you're proposing a deal. If I expose their relationship, we both lose. He turned and headed for the door. We'll see about that. With the immediate crisis averted, Yulong, still holding Yue, thanked Luo Chengjun for his timely intervention. Luo Chengjun cautioned him. We have leverage now, but it won't last. This is just a temporary reprieve. Yulong understood the gravity of the situation and said he would contact his manager, Long Gung, to resolve the issue. With that matter settled for the time being, the story shifts to Zili and Cho-Chin-Yu. Zili arrived at the art room to find Cho-Chin-Yu asleep on a stool, waiting for her. Cho-Chin-Yu was dreaming about the time Yulong defended him. In the dream, after being knocked down, a furious Yulong grabbed a nearby stool and brought it down on his attacker's head. The attacker lay in a pool of blood. This explained Yulong's sudden loss of control when he picked up the stool in the student council room. After that incident, Yulong was forced to wear the clown mask, while Cho-Chin-Yu, thanks to his uncle's influence, escaped unscathed. From then on, Cho-Chin-Yu's career skyrocketed. His fans adored him, their devotion bordering on blind. They believed his looks were enough. Who cared about the music? Cho-Chin-Yu abruptly woke up. Zili, observing his distress, asked, "What's wrong? You look troubled, and you're sweating." She reached out and wiped his brow, causing him to blush crimson. Cho-Chin-Yu stammered, "I just had a dream. You were drawing me again." Is my face really that captivating? Zelie replied with certainty, her hand resuming its work. Your eyes, nose, mouth, they're practically perfect. As her fingertip brushed his lips, their eyes met and held. Just as the moment threatened to deepen, Lingting burst into the room, frantic. Zelie, have you seen Ingwe? I can't find her anywhere. She's not answering her phone. We had plans. She finally noticed the scene before her. Startled, Zelie scrambled to her feet and backed away from Xiao Chenyu. I'll just gather my things and help you look. Lingting gave an awkward laugh. Did I interrupt something? I always thought Zelie liked you. Xiao Chenyu sighed. She doesn't like me. She just finds me aesthetically pleasing. I'm no different to her than a flower or a plant. Before their relationship could be defined, time jumped forward to Shuanjin High School's final exams. The first student we see is the brilliant Lingting, finishing the exam in record time. As the narrator wondered at his speed, Lingting himself looked at his paper with a puzzled expression. I wonder how Luo Changjuan's tutoring is going for everyone else. The chubby girl sitting behind Lingting was astonished to see her finish the test so early. Her face was a mask of surprise. I thought Lingting wasn't very good at academics, she thought. But Lingting, in her naivete, held up her test paper, and its golden answers were quickly copied by the chubby girl. When it came time to grade the papers, the teacher's brow furrowed in a deep frown. Mr. Gua, she said, look at this problem on Lingting's paper. It's identical to Chun Su's answer in Mr. Su's class. They're the only two who used this particular method, and even the mistakes are the same. Mr. Su, please come and take a look. This is a clear case of cheating. Meanwhile, outside the office, Li Ku ran to find Ingwe. Ingwe, it's bad. I heard Lingting was called to the office for cheating. Inside the office, the homeroom teacher was scolding Lingting. I'll give you one chance. Do you admit to cheating? Lingting was indignant. Even if our answers are the same, how can you be so sure that I cheated? The other teachers in the office couldn't stand it anymore. Mr. Su, the matter hasn't been fully investigated yet. I think we should call Chun Su in as well. The homeroom teacher wouldn't listen. There's no need for that. Chun Su's grades are usually better than Lingting's. Why would he be the one cheating? Besides, she continued, Lingting never studies hard. Several of her scores on this final exam are higher than usual. I suspect she cheated to get those marks. Mr. Gua, you're still young. You're not strict enough with your students. Lingting is always showing off at school. She doesn't study hard, only thinking about being a model. It's utterly irresponsible. Just as Ingwe was hurrying towards the office, Luo Changjun called. Ingwe, he said, the debate competition is almost over. Please let everyone know that the afternoon meeting will proceed as scheduled. What's wrong? You sound frantic. Ingwe quickly told him. Lingting, my sister, answered a big question on the final exam exactly the same way as someone in your class. She's been called to the office. I heard your homeroom teacher, Mr. Su, insists that Lingting cheated and wants to cancel her exam results and have her disciplined. I'm on my way to the office now to see what's going on. Luo Chengjuan's expression grew serious upon hearing this news. I understand, he said. I'll come back as soon as the competition is over. Meanwhile, Lingting, after being thoroughly scolded, stormed off home. Her parents were surprised to see her. Her father spoke first. Lingting, why are you home so early at midday? You didn't even bring your backpack. Her mother chimed in. Your homeroom teacher, Mr. Su, called us. He said you cheated on the final exam. Explain yourself. Why did you cheat? You're already not serious about your studies, spending all your time being a model, and now you dare to cheat. Her mother quickly grew impatient. Honey, you haven't even heard Lingting's side of the story. Her father cut her off. A doting mother is exactly why she's become like this. Look at what your daughter has become. Lingting, already upset from being reprimanded at school, was now being unjustly scolded by her father. Heartbroken, she walked alone down the street. Luo Changjun, having just finished his competition, was on the bus back when he suddenly spotted Lingting in the crowd. Sensing something was wrong, he quickly asked the driver to let him off. He ran towards her and grabbed her wrist. Startled, Lingting turned around and saw Luo Changjun. Why are you here? She asked. The vachive of the entire day suddenly welled up inside her, and tears streamed down her face. She began to sob uncontrollably. The commotion drew the attention of the surrounding crowd. People began to murmur. Look at that girl crying. That boy must have bullied her. He must have done something irresponsible. A high school student doing something like this. Someone should go say something to him. Both of them clearly heard the whispers. Unfazed, Luo Changjun pulled Lingting into a hug. Feeling the warmth of his embrace, Lingting's sobs subsided, but her mind raced. Everyone thinks I'm just caught up in the glamour of being a model, she thought, but they don't know how insecure I am. I've always envied Ingwe, envied her academic excellence, and how she never worries her parents. I only took this job to show them that I can shine too. I'm not worthless. The thought made her feel even more aggrieved, and she reached out and hugged Luo Changjun tighter. Suddenly, he took her hand and said, "Let's go back to school." They quickly arrived at the office door. Luo Changjun called out, "Excuse me, is Mr. Su in?" Mr. Su looked displeased to see them together. "Luo Changjun," he said, "why are you with Lingting?" Luo Changjun strode forward confidently. "I'm here to prove that Lingting didn't cheat," he declared. "I believe your suspicion, Mr. Su, is unreasonable." Lingting sits in the front. For her to turn around and look at the back like that would be such an obvious movement that the security camera should have caught it. The surrounding teachers murmured in hushed, disapproving tones. But even this couldn't 100% prove Lingting's innocence. The school's security cameras were rotating, sometimes leaving blind spots. Mr. Su, the teacher accusing Lingting, stated flatly that even the security footage couldn't definitively prove anything, let alone the issue of her sitting near other students, he added. Seeing that no one believed her, and hearing their seemingly airtight arguments, Lingting's hands trembled with fear. Suddenly, Luo Changjun reached out and took her hand. The unexpected contact sent a jolt through Lingting like a sudden electric shock. Her face flushed crimson. Luo Changjun's voice, calm and steady, broke the tense silence. "Compared to your flimsy suspicions," he said, his gaze sweeping across the room, "I have concrete evidence proving Lingting didn't cheat. I believe the teachers present can discern the truth." He produced a test paper and presented it to Mr. Su. "The proof is on this practice sheet," he declared. "This is a practice test created by Lingting's math teacher a week before the exam. It just so happens to contain a similar problem." Luo Changjun walked over to the math teacher. "This is Lingting's answer from that practice test. Mr. Xiao, please take a look." Mr. Xiao took the paper and examined it carefully. Indeed, the solution method and the error were identical. Seeing this, Luo Changjun continued, shifting the focus. "We have a study group, several students who meet weekly. Ingwen and Zili, both first-year students, are also members. If you need witnesses, you can certainly ask them. I corrected Lingting's mistake during our study session, but clearly, she didn't fully grasp the concept. She made the same mistake again." Faced with the mounting evidence presented by Luo Changjun, the teachers began to murmur amongst themselves. "Mr. Su's accusation of cheating seems rather hasty," one whispered. "So, did Lingting cheat or not?" Accusing a student like this. Before the sentence could be finished, another teacher entered the office. "Mr. Su," he said, "the principal requests your presence in his office." Mr. Su shot a venomous look at Luo Changjun and snorted. "Don't think you can act so arrogant just because you're the principal's son. One takes on the qualities of one's company," he spat, before storming out of the office. Luo Changjun spoke to his retreating back. "Mr. Su, I've spent more time with Lingting than you have. I believe I understand her character better than you do." Lingting watched the tense exchange, her heart swelling with gratitude. Luo Changjun had been willing to stand up for her, against everyone else. After thanking him sincerely, Luo Changjun escorted her home. Upon learning what had happened, Lingting's mother burst into tears and embraced her. "Lingting, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you." Her father, though silent, clearly felt remorse. Luo Changjun, having orchestrated this reconciliation, chose to downplay his role. He simply offered Lingting a gentle wave, leaving the reunited family to their newfound peace, and quietly slipped away. From that moment on, it was clear that the young girl's heart belonged to him. The previous unpleasantness between them, diluted by time, would likely become a source of amusement for them in the future. With their relationship now on the right track, the narrative shifts back to Ingwe. After school that day, heavy rain began to fall. Just as Ingwe was about to head home under her umbrella, Lingting came running up to her. "Sorry to keep you waiting," she said. "Let me hold the umbrella." As they walked together through the rain, Ingwe asked, "Yulong's play. He said he'd give me 2 tickets. Want to go with me, sis?" Lingting's expression turned serious. I've heard it's quite a popular show, she replied, but I have work commitments and won't be able to make it. Ingwe couldn't help but tease her. No wonder I haven't seen Yulong at school lately. He must be incredibly busy. Lingting suddenly realized something. That's right, I haven't seen him in a while either, she said. Is my dear little sister missing her boyfriend? The two sisters continued their walk home, chatting and playfully bickering as they braved the downpour. As soon as they arrived home, Ingwe began drying her wet clothes. Suddenly, Yulong called. Ingwe, he said, about those play tickets. I was going to give them to you, but you weren't there, so I left them on your desk. Ingwe retrieved the tickets as instructed. I'll definitely be there, she said excitedly. I'm really looking forward to it. Relieved, Yulong replied. I have work tonight. I'm on my way there now. Get some rest. Good night, Ingwe said, reminding him to take care of himself. After hanging up, she leaned against the windowsill, phone in hand, looking exhausted. Perhaps it was the weight of longing, or perhaps the sheer effort required to maintain their relationship. Meanwhile, Yulong, having also ended the call, was lost in thought. He seemed burdened by guilt, likely stemming from his inability to always be there for Ingwe.